What do you mean she disappeared? Asked Autumn. I mean that one moment she was here, and then I looked away for half a second, and she was gone. Have you looked around? Yes, I said, and I found this note. I read out the note. After reading the note, Autumn was silent. She then covered her eyes and collapsed into me. I held her as she began to sob. My poor baby. She must be so scared, she said while crying. I held her tight, trying to reassure her. What are we going to do? We need to find Emma. Who's Emma? She's my sister. Your sister? I thought your sister died. I took a breath and explained everything to Autumn. I hadn't told her because I wasn't sure how. I knew if I were her, I would probably not believe any of it. I explained to her about our trip, about the magic, and how Emma almost died because of it. I told her about Emma coming back and then leaving without much of an explanation. I don't know what to think, Autumn said. That's okay. It sounds very crazy, I know. Where is Emma? I don't know. Well, what did she say whenever she left? I tried to remember what she said before disappearing. She was like, I want to stay at home, but in a greater home there is a place I am needed, a place where I fit better. It's a riddle, said Autumn. I know. I just don't know what it means. Well, if her magic allows her to live in cold places, and she has powers relating to ice, then I think I know what the riddle means. Her greater home is the country, and a place where she fits better is a very cold place in the country. What's the coldest place in the United States? I searched it up. It was Fairbanks, Alaska. Could Emma be in Alaska? Even though I didn't know for sure, something about it made sense. After a little bit more of a discussion, Autumn and I decided to book a flight for Fairbanks, Alaska. It was about a 7-hour flight. Even though it was November, it was terribly cold. The place was covered in snow. Ice was everywhere. It was 7 degrees Fahrenheit. Not 7 degrees Celsius, 7 degrees Fahrenheit. Autumn and I had to buy a bunch of clothes and other layers of clothing. I didn't even know it could get that cold. I had experienced cold before. I'd grown up with snow, but this was extreme. How did anyone live here? There was only sunlight for about 4 hours of the day. It was so dark all the time. We walked out of the airport to find a taxi to take us to a hotel. However, as we stood there in the freezing cold, a woman walked up to us. David, I knew you would finally come, said the woman. It was Emma. It was actually Emma. I embraced her, so happy to finally see her. After our hug, Emma turned to Autumn. Oh, Emma, this is my wife, Autumn. Autumn, this is my sister, Emma. Good to meet you, said Autumn. It's good to meet you too. It's so good to see that my brother has found someone who would marry him. Anyways, come to my car. I'll take you to my place. Let's get you both out of this cold. I was pleasantly surprised to see Emma. I'm not sure why she was at the airport, but I greatly appreciated the fact that she was there. We got into her car and drove away from the airport. Well, how did you figure out I was here? Asked Emma. It was thanks to my wife, I said. Well, that's awesome. I was wondering why it took you so long to find me, David. I guess you just needed to find the right person to understand what I was saying. So, why did you decide to come now? Why not in the summer when it's warmer? I began to tell Emma about Aura and how she disappeared. I told her about the letter that I found in Aura's place. I was handing the letter to Emma, but she said that she wanted to read it at her house. Plus, she said, we are only a few minutes away. We continued to drive in the dark, amidst snow and ice. We drove into this forest until we approached this cabin. It was brightly lit. It was made of wood. It looked very cozy. Emma warned us about the ice. I assured her that I would be careful, only to slip and fall on my first step. It was only a little bit embarrassing. We walked into the cabin and entered this big living room. There were blankets on couches. There was a fireplace providing some decent light and warmth. Emma guided us to a couch, and Autumn and I wrapped ourselves in a blanket. I handed the letter to Emma, and she read it for a minute. Afterwards, she was silent for a minute. What does it mean? I asked her. It's very bad news. Shar Khaligi is a dangerous man. He threatens the stability of the fabric of magic. He is the leader of the souls of the wind. What does that mean? Asked Autumn. The souls of the wind are a very dangerous group of people. See, magic has a certain effect on people. People like me, we are people with magical abilities. These magical abilities mirror nature. So we are regular people with characteristics of natural magic. However, people like the souls of the wind are filled with natural magic, but with characteristics of people. The souls of the wind group are those who were once people like you and me. However, they broke the rules of magic and the magic consumed them. They are organized around natural magic of wind and air. They are now less human than not. Shar Kali-Gi was an ancient Sumerian prince with the natural magic of wind. Many people who have broken the rules of natural magic are people from centuries and millennia ago, as it is hard to live so long without giving in to the temptation. Autumn and I tried to take in all the information. There was so much about the magic that I had gotten that I didn't know. There was a whole world, a hidden world. What had we gotten ourselves into? What should we do? I asked Emma. Well, you're going to have to go to Mount St. Helens. However, you won't be going alone. Tomorrow, we will go to the Center for the Northwestern Glacial Magicians. It's not far from here. I will inform the glacial head leader, and we will discuss plans from there. David, I want to train you. It's been long enough. And if you're going to Mount St. Helens to confront Shar Kali-Gi, then you should be prepared. If he is going to do what I think he is going to do. Emma trailed off. What do you think he's going to do? Asked Autumn, worry in her voice. I don't know. Plus, I don't want to worry you two any more than you already are. We'll talk about this more tomorrow. Here, let me show you two to a bedroom so you can sleep. We then followed Emma down a hallway to a bedroom. She apologized that it was a little small, but it looked okay. Emma showed us around the room and then left us to unpack. She told us to wake up by 6 a.m. so we can get to the center by noon. As we began to unpack, we wondered where the restroom was. Autumn left to find Emma to ask where one was. I stayed to keep unpacking. As I was unpacking, the window opened up suddenly. A gust of freezing air flew in, surprising me. I ran over to close the window. After that, I grabbed a jacket and put it on, feeling incredibly cold. As I was doing this, I looked up. Normally, I would be scared out of my mind to see this, but I think I was too scared to properly react. In front of me, there was a body of wind. There were no real details except for two things. There were two white, beady eyes staring at me. Then was his mouth, smiling big. Sharakiri-gi, I said, my voice shaking from the cold and the terror. Hello, David.